Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're back with a video. Watching this Purdue versus Illinois game, but they're pretty much finishing up. Game wasn't close. Purdue was pretty much dominating the whole time. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is the Auburn Tigers basketball team. We're reviewing them. After their loss today, I planned this video out. I didn't want to put this video out on the day that they lost because I feel like people are use a lot of overreactions, all that, and that's not what I do. Although it gives me more evidence, so there we go. Going to my point. All right, so basically this video is going to be why Auburn will not win the national championship, and who will. Mostly about Auburn, why they won't. Okay, so the main reasons why Auburn won't win the national championship, I'm just going to name them up front. Chemistry, three-point shooting, and motivation, You've also had the Hollywood disease as well, which is where you think you're too good to play, They foul way too much. You cannot foul too much in big games. There's a lot of great defensive teams in basketball who don't foul as much as Auburn. Trust me, they foul way too much. But yeah, let's just look at why. Your 3-point shooting. You're the worst team. Apparently this is true. It might be, but apparently the worst team to ever win a March Madness since they switched to 64 teams, or like the worst 3-point percentage the team had when they won March Madness was apparently 32.9. Auburn has 32.4 from three. They can't shoot from three outside Jabari Smith. They have no 3-point shot. They get inside. Trust me, they can get inside, especially Mr. Kessler, who's a beast in the paint, especially on defense, which is where Auburn is built. They're built to drive inside, play amazing defense, especially in the paint. They got the best paint defense in the country. They got best inside defense, at least. I don't know about best defense in the country. They're amazing at getting inside. They're coached well, but they're not motivated. They don't have the chemistry. Okay, they don't pass as much as other teams. They're not motivated to win games. It's just it's one of those things. Give them credit, but I'm pulling out reasons why they won't win a national title. Gonzaga and Purdue. Purdue is a 3-point machine. That's good to have when you're playing Auburn because Auburn is amazing inside. They're one of the best inside defenses I've seen in a long time, and they're great. And they have great perimeter defense as well. Just not as good as the inside defense. But Purdue, they shoot much better than Auburn. From three especially. Purdue's got a great center. Just like Auburn. Kessler, in my opinion, he's probably the best center in the country. Especially, that guy's a defensive machine. Give him his credit. He's the best player on Auburn's team, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it's also not even close. That guy is just, yeah. Just give him his credit. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. So I'm trying to find another game to watch. Excuse me. But while I keep talking, let's go into depth. Why not? What about the players? USC's losing the Pacific. USC is losing the Pacific. It shows how fraud of a team USC is. Might need to make a video about them as well, on being fraudish. I don't think Auburn's frauds, but I do think they're a little bit overrated. But Purdue, they shoot amazing three. And then Gonzaga is smart, They pass the ball well. They're a balanced team. They can pretty much do everything. It's hard to find a weakness in Gonzaga. It really is. Uh, Drew Timmy. Excuse me, but a little bit tired as you can see. But I mean, Gonzaga is well rounded. Purdue is amazing, an offensive juggernaut. And the reason why I'm talking about Gonzaga and Purdue so much is, well, those are the two teams I think will make the national title. Believe it or not, So yes, that's why I'm talking about them so much. But let's talk about a couple of other teams. Duke. Duke's a popular team to make the Final Four. They got a lot of stars. I'll give them that, but Coach K does not have the same energy he used to. Duke, not really, especially this year, they're not great in the paint at all. They get bullied there a lot, which is that's something. You got to be a physical team if you want to compete in the big games. Duke has lost a lot of games that they really shouldn't be losing. They just dropped one to Purdue, dropped one to Florida State, and dropped one to a lot of other games to a lot of other teams. They're not. They have an Auburn problem as well. They're not consistent. They have decent chemistry, but they're not consistent. You know, Kansas. That's my pick to make the Final Four. Kansas isn't. Kansas is really good all around. Kansas's main problem is that they don't really pass the ball like they should. That's a big concern if I'm Kansas. They're good on defense. They shoot well from three. They're a pretty balanced team, but they don't move the ball well at all. And you got to move the ball well. You got to do a lot of things well if you want to win the championship. Because they're so balanced and good in everywhere, that's why I think they make the Final Four. But they don't move the ball well. They don't. They don't pass it well. That's an issue that they need to solve. Um, but let's compare Auburn. Auburn's got all the transfers, all the stars. It's like they're trying to build an NBA team out of the transfer portal. That stuff does not. I don't think that stuff's gonna work. Gonzaga has all the chemistry, all the traits, all the balanced traits. The motivation from last year's national title loss, that's something else you got to consider. They have all that, and they've been there before. They're experienced. They got that. Purdue, they shoot well from three. Purdue's probably the best offense in the country. Purdue's the best three-point shooting team in the country. Purdue, while not elite defense, I'd necessarily say, they do have pretty good or good enough defense. And that's why they'll make the national title. Another popular team is Arizona. Arizona is interesting to say the least. Arizona, they got a star player too, but they don't. They don't have the depth. That's their problem. If they can get better depth there, they'll be. Arizona can go far, but they don't. They have a depth problem. Houston's a good team. We'll see what they can do as well. And of course, you got all the Cinderella sleeper teams. But going back to Auburn, I mean, once again, if you think Auburn's okay, let me rephrase this. Phrase this. If you think Auburn's going to win the national title, and I don't blame you for saying it, for right now, they're the number one ranked team in the country. Tell me why that. I mean, they're dropping. We're not dropping necessarily, but they're having they're being battle tested, kind of like Alabama this season, but tell me why Auburn doesn't have the chemistry they can, tell me why they don't shoot as well as three as a great a national title team can. Uh, you know, Bruce Pearl seems like he's an angry madman on the sidelines. That's another reason. Bruce Pearl's a good coach in my opinion. I don't think he can win a national title. I don't. I think it's possible, but we've seen him before in some big moments, and he not the best. Another team, I guess. But let's look at some more teams as well. You got Baylor, who's in my opinion is an overrated team. You always got to watch out for the defending champs, though. They'll do their thing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, explain this, you clowns! Explain this. Dancing on the logo like that. Who do you think you are? What was that? What is that? What inner? Okay, here's apparently their win. If anybody even cares, 28 years ago over Michael Jordan in North Carolina. Yeah, I guess that's cool and all, but that's not the point of this video. Back to Auburn though. I think there's better coaches than Bruce Pearl's got an elite team. But Auburn, another thing with Auburn that you got to consider. Auburn has been struggling, and I mean struggling is oh my goodness on the road. I mean Jesus. Close game against Georgia, close against Missouri, close against Alabama. Look what they did to Alabama at home, and look what they did to them on the road. That just shows it. Look what they did against Kentucky at home, LSU. But look when they play those teams on the road. It's just not. They don't click. They're inexperienced. And a big reason why they struggle on the road is in road games you gotta shoot well from the free throw line. Auburn doesn't. They don't shoot well from three either, which I've mentioned that before. They got the talent. They got the star players. But there's just so many things they don't have. And I'm going to talk about these road games for a little bit because this is a big point. In March Madness, do you realize how many neutral site games you play in March Madness? Do you realize you got to go up in Indianapolis to play the Final Four? I know that. So if you want to win a national championship, you have to get through that. The Final Four in Indianapolis. And you struggle in big environments. You struggle, and you've showed your tail tonight in doing it, and it's proven. Yes, okay, I get it. Teams always struggle more on the road than they do at home. It's not as big as a difference as Auburn. They've struggled on the road way too much, and they've clicked at home. Give them credit. They've hit every beat at home almost. But on the road they're not. They don't play well at all, and it's mainly their shooting. 5-star defense, 5-star scoring inside. You can't shoot from three though. You got to pop the three in the big games, especially in a time where every single team is popping threes everywhere. Not every single team, but that's the narrative in basketball in today's game. If you don't like it, well, I'm sorry. That's just the truth, and you're gonna have to deal with it. I don't got a problem with it. I know some old heads do, but that's fine. The reason why Auburn's getting away with this right now is the teams they're playing, okay? The teams they're playing are not as talented as them, okay? They can't they can't guard Auburn inside. They can't score on Auburn inside. A good three-point shooting team can give them a run because they can shoot threes and Auburn can't. But that's not. That doesn't. You know, they're Auburn's a physical team, and they physically out talent a lot of teams they play. I promise you, you play Gonzaga, you play Purdue, you play Kansas, you play Duke, Arizona. What about USC? Isaiah Mobley. Yeah, yeah. Uh, USC might be a little bit overrated, but he's good. I'll tell you that much. Uh, you know, you struggle against the physical teams, and that's just a fact. Um, you don't struggle against physical teams. I meant to say, excuse me. I said you can't. You struggle against teams that can shoot three, because they can outscore you, and you can't score with them. You you have to hold them down, which is possible. That's not out of the you can't holding teams down. It's not the worst thing to do. But eventually, when they hit, if you let a team hit too many threes, like tonight, Arkansas, and you can't keep up with that because you can't shoot from the three good enough, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have problems, and that's personally why I think Purdue can beat you. Um, and Purdue's a worse matchup for you than Gonzaga. I do think Gonzaga will win the national championship, but Purdue's a worse matchup for you. Teams like that can pop it from three, Kentucky, those types of teams. You don't want to play those teams. I'm just letting you know right now. You got all the, you know. I don't think it's Auburn's year, and if they do win the national title, then so be it. I won't be surprised. This is just giving you some background notice on why they won't. Now, where do I think every team will end up? Well, Auburn, I think, will at least make the Elite Eight, probably the Final Four, and I think they'll lose there. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the national title. Gonzaga and Purdue is my prediction for the national title. They'll make it. I think Kansas will get to the Final Four. I think Duke is a possibility. Although Duke will lose in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, in my opinion. It's just not their year, not physical enough. Kentucky, they could possibly make the Sweet 16. Same thing with Tennessee. Arizona probably go to the Elite 8. Watch out for Houston. They might make it to the Final Four, but they'll probably lose in the Elite 8. Overrated USC, probably a second-round exit, although they do have the star player factor. Same thing with Ohio State. They got the star player factor. Ohio State's not overrated, though. I think they're a good team. They got star player factor. So we'll see. If you got a star player, any team can win it. No matter what team you are, that's just how basketball works. Football, you have to have a well-rounded team. Basketball, one star player automatically makes you a natty contender, and that's just the thing. I'm sorry, that's just what basketball is. In the NBA, college, it doesn't matter. If you got a star player, you're instantly a natty contender. Or a finals contender, a state championship contender, whatever. That's basically all I've had to say, though. I want to make more videos about more college basketball teams. I want to talk about the West Virginia, because I possibly think they can make a big run in the tournament. I want to talk about LSU. Talented, haven't played well the past couple of games. I think they can make a rise. They can make a jump. I probably need to. I don't think. If 19 minutes or 20 minutes is not enough to satisfy you on why Auburn. Well, I've pretty much got my reasoning why Auburn won't win the national championship. Now, I need to give my reasoning why Gonzaga will win the national championship, which that'll be an interesting video. I want to make a video about Alabama basketball, probably the most inconsistent team and underplaying team in the country, underachieving. They're a lot better than their record, in my opinion. They've shown it against Gonzaga, Baylor, really shown against Auburn as well. But they're not. They lose these games that they really shouldn't be losing, in my opinion. I thought they'd beat Kentucky, but they didn't, so we'll see. Texas, they can possibly make a run. They have an amazing defense. They just need to, they're using one player on offense right now, Timmy Allen. That's star player in the paint, center. He's stretched, he can shoot and all that. But yeah, that's interesting conversation for later. I need to make a video about firing Tom Crean eventually. Crean. Um, I want to give him one more year though. At the same time, I say fire Tom Crean, but I want to give him one more year at the same time. And Auburn stacking up my list: football, basketball, Jesus. But yeah, this is why Auburn will not win the national championship, and that's why. That's what that's what I'm talking about. I also want to make a video about the Nets because they messing up their town as well. KD, James Harden, Kyrie. It's unacceptable. But until next time, though. Let's see the birthday. Hi. Till next time, though. Oh, my finger. Peace and go dogs. All right, see you later.